Okay, so we start today's episode with Mary P's going into her new bakery. And I'm so happy that things are finally going good for her. She deserves this and so much more for everything that she went. Elsewhere, Agno and Cassia are talking about Agno being gay. And Agno's legit coming clean finally. He's like, listen, I'm not gonna change. I'm not gonna pretend to be someone I'm not. And I respect the man for that. But Cassia is on some nonsense. She's like, no, dad, I can't stand you being gay. I don't want to have a gay dad. People will make fun of me. It's like, girl, like, you homophobic and you need to stop. Elsewhere, Octavio and Beatriz are having an equally trifling lunch. Octavio really like, Beatriz, come back. And I respected Beatriz for a moment because she was like, oh, can I go to your apartment then? Because I bet you that baby mama of yours is there. And she wasn't wrong. But then 10 seconds later, she's like, all right, for VIVI's sake and for the sake of our family, let's get back together. Like, girl, like, you ain't got a family. He a lying, trifling man. Like, you. And then Beatriz kept being a dummy and she immediately went to go talk to Jose Elio and broke his heart. She was like, we can't talk anymore. Beatriz, girl, like, you're doing too much for that Skeletor husband of yours. Regis and Teo meet up and they actually start having a conversation. Teo's like, listen, Mary Peace was right. You want to prove that you changed? You got to follow it up with actions. And he is so right. The only way to show growth is through actions. And Regis is like, I'm not trying to catch those villano punishments, so tell me more. And then Teo was like, you know your baby mama and that child that might or might not be yours? You definitely want to go seek them out and make that better. And Regis actually did. He called them up immediately and met with them. And he told that child, like, I want to get to know you. You know, I want to fix things here. Like, Regis really has come a long way. Unfortunately, these odd team-ups are also happening for the villanos because freaking Camilo and Gael freaking teamed up. Gael ran to Camilo and spilled the whole tea about the Ramirez and Mateo blood feud, and he told him everything he needed to know about Chicle. I cannot stand him. And then Camilo was like, since you help me out, when you get in trouble, I'll help you out. So basically, Gael just got a get out of jail card for free. Like, I cannot with this guy. And Camilo wastes no time, and he runs to VIVI to be like, listen, we gotta have a serious talk. And at first, VIVI's like, we got nothing to talk about. Like, you and I have been done. And Camilo would not leave. To the point where even Kim was like, yo, you need to really step away and back off. But VIVI's grandma Linda has proven to be extra smart because she was like, listen, that man's dangerous and that man ain't just freaking threatening you for free. He knows something. Elsewhere, Josiane and Teo marvel at the money that she made on those blood diamonds. And the investment dude is like, all right, Josiane, now you need to invest more than 50% of your money. Yep. And then she got it. Over at the factory, Fabiana, aka the nun from hell, just will not let Brittany go. Like, she's just so fixated on annoying Brittany. To be fair though, Brittany is around the cake, so she should be wearing like a net or something. I'm shocked that this just brought up, but seriously, Fabiana needs to get over it. And even freaking Marcia was like, girl, we got bigger problems. Marcia was like, listen, we're losing a lot of capital fast. We need to figure out a way to get an influx of cash into the business. And Fabiana's like, light bulb, ding. She was like, I know where we can get some cash. Easy cash. And she runs to Josiane and she's like, you remember this picture? Because you look kind of familiar in that picture. And Josiane's like, oh my God, what do you want? Like, you're so annoying. And then Fabiana, crazy ass, go on this rant about how a higher power put her at the right spot. And even Josiane was like, girl, you crazy. Like, I'm crazy, but you extra crazy. And Fabiana was like, damn right, I'm crazy for this money. Pay up or go to jail. VIVI agrees to meet Camilo, and it gets real tense real quick. At first, VIVI is being super condescending and mocking Camilo. Alright, I get that Camilo's annoying VIVI, but my problem with VIVI has always been that she never owned up to the cheating. She never owned up to the fact that it wasn't right, and her just mocking him isn't making anything better. Like, VIVI, you need to get some sense into you too, girl. But Camilo a piece of trash himself too, because he struck real quick. He was like, I know what Chicle did. And VIVI shut up with the quickness. Girl went from yay to nay real quick. And Camilo's like, I'm gonna put your man in jail. Which is really low of you, Camilo. But damn, like, I don't know who to root for in this mess. Because honestly, they're all trash. Over at Marlene's apartment, Mary Peace and Marlene are celebrating that Don Antero got his memory back, and Marlene's still hopeful that Don Antero will still ask her to marry him. But Marlene best watch out because Grandmama Evelina is after Don Antero's bones. And Grandmama Evelina trifling as hell. Like, honestly, I'm on Marlene's side because she has been a real one and has been helping Mary Peace out since day one. And then as if Regis didn't already get the hint, he really just shows up unannounced talking about, I want to talk to you, Mary Peace. And of course, Mary Peace is not happy to see him. I am ready for the dragon that she's going to give him because every time Regis does this nonsense, she stay dragging his ass.
So this is finally the episode where Josiane goes broke. Regis barges in and he's like, Mary Peace, I'm a changed man. And as usual, Mary Peace is not here for his nonsense. He's like, boy, if you don't get out of my apartment. And he's like, no, I mean it. I'm gonna go get a paternity test and I'm gonna acknowledge my son. And then he sneaks in a hug to Mary Peace, which she was definitely not expecting. And this is why Mary Peace is such a queen, because she didn't discourage him. She was like, good for you, you know, hopefully you'll keep doing good. Like, she could have easily kicked his ass out, but instead she chose to be kind and to listen to him and really encourage him to keep becoming a better person. And Regis was so happy, and he was like, I'm just changing. I want to change to a better man for you. And then he dropped it. He was like, I'm still in love with you, which made Mary Peace a little uncomfortable. And she was like, right now it's not the time. Over at the mansion, Teo realizes that Josiane is acting extra sus. And Ellen comes in with the tea. And it's nice to see Ellen because legit the writers just forgot about her the second that Mary Peace got kicked out of the mansion. But anyways, she was like, Josiane has been extra weird ever since Fabiana paid her a visit. And Teo was like, girl, who's scamming you? Because what does she know about you? Josiane started having a mental breakdown. She was like, I got no more money. I only have my investment left. And we all know that's going to go. This must have been the day of trifling visits because Octavio paid Beatriz a visit and he was like, so are you taking me back? And Beatriz was like reluctantly like, fine, as long as you promise not to cheat again. But we all know it's not going to happen. So he immediately went back to his sugar baby apartment and he was, we just got to stay low key and make her think that we not cheating. And she was all for it because she already got a side dude on the side. And they wasted no time because the next day she showed up at his office and they was ready to cheat. I can't stand this man. Over at the cake factory, Fabiana's like, I just deposited some of my money into the account because it came from a magical place. And Marcel's like, where did you get that money from? That's kind of weird. And Teo walks right in just to hear that. And he puts two and two together. He immediately confronts Fabiana and he's like, listen, girl, I ain't stupid. You showed up at Josiane's place. All of a sudden you have money. Like, it makes sense that you know something. And Fabiana's just listening to him. And I noticed something about Fabiana. She might be very calculating, but she has a short fuse because she immediately flipped the switch. And she was like, get out of my office. You got to get out. And Teo was like, girl, you crazy? And I know there's something in this phone that you blackmailed Josiane with. And Fabiana just like went all nuts. Like, she extra crazy. Right after that, like, Fabiana, I guess, just wakes up and likes bothering people. Because over at the other store, a customer was complaining that the cake pieces were too small. So Jennifer switched out his piece to make him happy. And Fabiana saw that. And how unprofessional is Fabiana? She took Jennifer out to the street to fire her. And she also fired Tonio when she was at it. But they weren't the ones because Tonio and her clapped back. And Jennifer was like, I want to be paid every single dime because I ain't the one. Like, I'm glad they were ready to throw hands because Fabiana has some nerve. Over at the wine store, Regis and Teo are really becoming BFFs. Like, he was like, guess what? You know, I did the Purdy test. Maybe, like, he'll be my kid. And Teo was like, yeah, you go, man. Like, they're really friends now. Like, Josiana's two boyfriends really coming together and freaking scamming her. I cannot. Anyways, Teo was like, so you got any more money for Mary Peace? Because she still needs more money. And Regis was like, I don't, but, like, I can sell some stuff here. Like, you know, we'll figure out. And Teo was like, nah, I got a way. I have a feeling there's going to be more money coming to Mary Peace magically. And then he met with Rocky and Agno so that they could pressure Agno to move some money into Mary Peace's account. Later at Vivi's house, Octavio really showed up super late and Beatriz already knows what's going to happen. He really showed up with a paper in hand talking about, here's my receipt from the freaking mechanic. They fixed my car immediately. Like, and Beatriz already knew what was happening and she was like, I'm tired of your clown ass. I should have never said yes to this stupid mess. But tell me why Vivi gotta get herself involved. She's really starting to annoy me with this mess. She went again and she tried to excuse her daddy. She was like, can you just forgive him this time? Like, girl, like, you know your mom isn't about this life. You know she wants to be happy and move on. And she really has the nerve to keep her in that spot. Even Beatriz was like, girl, like, you need to stop doing this because this is not okay. And I wholeheartedly agree. Like, Vivi legit acting like a spoiled child. Like, Vivi, you're not a 12-year-old hunty. Like, you're a full-grown woman. You need to understand that your daddy is toxic and your mom is better off alone because she needs to live her own life. And she already got a better man anyway. So the investor shows up to give Josiane an update about her money. And Teo's like, I got some spoilers for you, Josiane. It ain't good news. And the investor's like, we lost all your money. You are broke. And Josiane has a freaking mental breakdown. She starts acting crazy. She's like, I legit have no more money left. She makes a whole scene. And you know what? I'm glad. I'm glad this is karma for her. And I'm glad we didn't have to wait long for her to get this karma. Because she had that whole energy when she was laughing in Mary Peace's face a couple of weeks ago about how she scammed her. And she had no shame about it. So I'm glad she's suffering now. Teo tries to comfort her, but she is just on a freaking roll. She kicks him out. She starts acting all crazy. And then she even breaks her mirror like a psycho. Like, I am thoroughly enjoying her going through this situation. She deserves every bit of it. Like, Josiane is suffering in such a mood. It gives me so much life. And just as Josiane goes down, Mary Peace goes up, but not before another challenge. So Mary Peace out here in the street is all... And some dudes legit just rob her. Like, they steal her stuff. And Mary Peace once again is distraught. She cries out for help. And lo and behold, this mysterious girl comes out of nowhere and she helps Mary Peace out. Not sure if y'all remember early on in the story, it was like week 3, like when Mary Peace had her baby and she was in the hospital, there was a nurse shift and then they changed her shifts and then they kind of like didn't know what was going on. So this might be potentially Mary Peace's actual daughter. Yo, this show's about to get better now that our girl Johana has joined.
So this episode of Dulce Ambición was all about setting up for the next phase of the show. So we start with Mary Peace meeting Johana. And Johana was super sweet. She was so concerned for Mary Peace. She was like, are you okay? She even offered to help her, like, push her cart. And so Mary Peace and Johana went off, and they quickly became friends. Mary Peace was so happy to be around her. And now what all of us are thinking is, could that be Mary Peace's actual daughter? because Johana left a lasting impression on Mary Peace, and Mary Peace seems to have a connection to her. Elsewhere, Mano Santa and Grandma Evelina are talking about Mano Santa, and Grandma Evelina went right for it. She was like, I know you've been hanging around Agno a lot. Is that your boyfriend? Which is really bold of her. And Mano Santa was like, I like him. Like, is there an issue with that? And thankfully, Grandmama Evelina was so understanding. She was like, no, as long as you're happy, like I am okay, which was really cool development for her. Over at the mansion, Teo checks in on Josiane, who I remind y'all just went broke. And Teo's like, dude, like you literally have no more money. Like you should literally just sell the mansion. And Josiane's like, but I don't want to. It was my dream to live in a mansion this whole time. And Teo's, but like, dude, you literally cannot even afford like the light bill for this place. Like, girl, you out of your mind. The next day, Marlene goes to talk to Don Antero, but Don Antero's like, you looking kind of unfamiliar. Like, I don't know you. And poor Marlene was heartbroken. I felt so bad for her. And Grandmama Evelina was there catching all the tea. Over at Amadeo's place, he gets an unexpected visit from Josiane. And she's like, Dad, you have to help me. I've been scammed. And Amadeo's like, girl, you were literally dealing with blood diamonds. Like, this is all on you. Like, you did something you shouldn't have, and you got burnt, rightfully so. And Josiane is like, oh, God, here we go again. And Gael, as usual, getting all the tea. Like, this man's job is just to listen behind doors. And Amadeo does not waste the opportunity to drag Josiane. He was like, you know what? You should have never stole from your mother, and I'm glad that you lost everything. You deserve every single bit. And honestly, I'm so refreshed here because I'm glad they're not giving Josiane passes just because she's their daughter. Like, if this was Televisa, they'd be like, but it's my daughter and I should forgive her. And over here, they're like, no, I don't care if you're my daughter or not. You did wrong and you deal with the consequences. And I 100% stand. And Josiane was so flustered, she was like, fine, I'll get my own help. And her dumbass really ran to Regis, like as if Regis was gonna help her. She was like, Regis, we've been destined. We should get back together. And Regis was like, girl, that nonsense didn't work on me last time, and it's not gonna work on me now. Like, I don't even love you, I love your mother. And he dragged her ass too. He was like, Mary Peace has a heart, something which you don't even know about. And Josiane ran off pissed again. She was like, fine, I'm gonna find my own help. Like, girl, who are you gonna go to? So her ass goes back home. Oh my God, it's looking kind of lonely in there. And Rel just barges in. And she's like, hey man, like listen, like I am broke. Like I am MC Hammer broke. Like y'all, like I ain't got no money. And Rel's like, what about this painting? Like, is this worth anything? And she's like, that is a priceless artifact. You cannot take. And he was like, girl, like you ain't got no money left. I'm taking this with me. And Josiane had no choice but to just suck it up and watch him do. Like he really swagged out with the painting. This show's wild. Elsewhere, Mary Peace runs into Rocky. And I just love how happy Rocky makes Mary Peace. Like every time that he's around her, she's always like so happy and jolly. And then Johana shows up and Rocky was instantly smitten. And our girl Mary Peace saw it right away. She was like, oh, I see something here. Rocky offers to take Johana to the bus station and they both start flirting extra hard. And Johana's just so adorable. Like how could Rocky not like her? Like it's obvious that Rocky is in love with her. And finally, like we finally get a couple that we can actually root for. Because let's face it, a lot of the couples in this show are extra trifling. So Rocky goes to hang out with Mary Peace afterwards, and him and Mary Peace plan a way to get them to run into each other by accident. Later at Marlene's house, Marlene is crying about how Don Antero doesn't remember. And she's reminiscing about the time that Don Antero almost proposed to her and then instantly had a heart attack. And she said that it was her dream to marry. And Mary Peace was so sweet. She consoled her and she was like, keep believing, you know, one day he'll get his memory back, one day he'll propose to you, and one day he'll get the plot documents that we need to get the factory back. I absolutely love the relationship that Mary Peace and Marlene have. Like, they have always been so supportive of each other. Like, it is so nice to see Mary Peace with somebody on her side. But Grandmama Evelina being kind of trifling. Like, she's legit trying to steal that man. Don Antero was like, it'd be nice to marry a woman like you. And she was kind of egging it on.